The Minnesota Vikings are receiving trade calls surrounding running back Alexander Mattison. Let's talk about it. What's up, Vikings Nation? Welcome to the Minnesota Vikings Syndicate. I'm your host, Trey Wicks. Now, first and foremost, thank you to everyone who has hit that subscribe. We have reached 500. Yes, 500. How about them apples? I'm pumped about it. So much appreciated from everyone who has hit that subscribe. Now a new goal. Let's try to get this channel to 550 subs by November 14th, just a couple weeks away. I know it's very doable. All you have to do is hit that subscribe for endless amounts of Minnesota Vikings content. So let's get right into it. The Vikings. Well, they've been receiving some calls surrounding Alexander Mattison, the Vikings' number 2 running back. And actually, he's been at the forefront of a lot of trade rumors basically for the past, since the season basically started, because there's teams out there who need running backs, especially we're at the point where we know how many injuries there are on certain teams. There's going to be more, okay? Like the Jets, for instance, they lose Breece Hall. They end up trading for James Robinson. However, Alexander Mattison, I believe, could be a starter in this league. There's a lot of teams that could use him. So with it kind of dwindling down, or the trade calls kind of dwindling down, they have officially picked back up because the trade deadline is only 5 days away. So Tyler Forness, per the Vikings Wire, dove into this situation and kind of what to expect, and then I will give you my final opinion on whether or not this trade will happen. So let's get into it. Tyler Forness says, the Minnesota Vikings running back Alexander Mattison has been the subject of trade rumors for the last couple of months. They were really heavy around cut-down day at the end of August, but the Vikings didn't make a move. Now that the trade deadline is 5 days away, those talks have rekindled, per Heavy's Matt Lombardo. Now here's a tweet from Lombardo. Basically said the teams continue to make calls to the Vikings on running back Alexander Mattison, per multiple sources. Minnesota prioritizes him, so a trade may prove unlikely. Now, one of the reasons that the Vikings didn't move on from Mattison around cutdown day was due to starting running back Dalvin Cook having a history of getting injured. He has immense value to the Vikings for that reason. Okay, they have been using him more on third down, with Cook re-injuring his shoulder in week 3. Now, the trade market is likely too low for the Vikings to make a trade, as James Robinson, who arguably has a better track record than Mattison does, went to the Jets for a conditional 5th-round pick. Now, with the Vikings prioritizing Mattison, the likely asking price is likely high, with it potentially being a 3rd-round pick. Now, with the Vikings making a run for the NFC North title, keeping a key depth piece is a smart choice. Now, I completely agree with all this. Look, I know teams want Alexander Mattison. There are going to be these trade rumors surrounding him because he's that good of a running back. Let's be honest, okay? The NFL is now a 1-2 punch. You need a good number 1 or a great number 1, and you need a solid or a good number 2 running back. It's just how it is. You need somebody that can rush and get it done in the trenches. You need somebody that can be a receiving back. And we have a kind of a little mixture of both in both these running backs, right? Dalvin and Alexander Mattison are super identical, and I think Mattison has the potential and the opportunity eventually down the line to be a starter in this league. However, there's a reason we didn't move away from him when the cutdowns came in August. I still believe the Vikings will not trade Alexander Mattison before the trade deadline. He's just too valuable, okay? Too valuable to this offense. And I understand we have Kene Nwangwu and we have Ty Chandler, okay? But they haven't seen as much of the field, so to say, as Alexander Mattison has. Mattison has had the chance to prove himself day in and day out, going in those third down formations and really getting it done. And he's a stud, okay? Plain and simple. The only way the Vikings get rid of Alexander Mattison, in my opinion, okay, is if they not only get rid of him, but they get rid of other pieces, maybe a draft pick or something to clear up more cap space, because that means we're going to go trade or go sign a massive piece like, we've been linked to some tight ends or, OBJ and stuff like that. That's the only way I see that happening. However, I think you can expect come the trade deadline, no big moves are going to be made by the Minnesota Vikings, but I could be wrong. So let me know below in the comments section what you think the Vikings are going to do, not only with Alexander Mattison, but other personnel as well, or who do you think we're going to pick up, if anybody? Let me know in the comment section. Hit that like, and also, most importantly, hit that subscribe. We're trying to get to 550 as we have already hit our 500 mark. Appreciate everyone who has hit that sub, so make sure to do that now. Anyways, have a great rest of your day. Alexander Mattison, well, who knows? He could be on the move, but I doubt it. Anyways, Skull Vikings.